Well, what a way to close out an 8-game homestand here at Rogers Place as the Toronto Maple Leafs come to town. And I'm pleased to be joined by my good friend Cam Moon from 880 CHED and the Oilers Radio Network. As Cam, the Oilers are coming off a loss. They had their 3-game win streak snapped by the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. But in games after losses, they've proven to be very good. 17-7-3 so far this season. But the primary point of emphasis, as we heard from Captain Connor McDavid, is the goals against. 25 goals against in the last 5 games. How do they correct that?
Well, it's a lot of little things that add up to a big thing. And it's just they're played defensively as a whole, but little things within that. And whether that's you not having good body position in defensive zone coverage, whether that is having a turnover at the opposition blue line, and now we're looking at a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 coming the other way. It's all of those things. I mean, defensively, I know they had the 3-game winning streak, but they were still giving up a fair bit of goal. They were outscoring their defensive deficiencies, and that's a tough way to go. Eventually, you want to be able to hone things in defensively so that you don't have to rely upon 5 or 6 goals a night, although the Oilers can do that. It's just been, to me, it's just been a lot of little things, and you got to be, it's all attention to detail. It's being really smart. Sometimes it's your goalie bailing you out, or because there's going to be times where you have to rely on that too, but overall, I just don't know that defensively they've been super sharp. There's been times this year where they have been, but I don't know that there's been like a real long, consistent stretch of that. And as a result, we've seen 1 3-game winning streak, and that was on the 10th time they had won 2 in a row. But we haven't seen long losing streaks either. There's been a lot of, a couple of good games and maybe a game not as good. And maybe, 3 good games and maybe a couple that weren't real good. So it's been a lot of that. And again, it starts with being strong in your own end and strong defensively as a team. That gives you a basis for success.
Cam, we will see one change up front. Andrew Mangiapane comes in for Curtis Lazar. Connor Ingram will get the start between the pipes, but I actually want to focus on the defense here. Led by Evan Bouchard, he had 23 points in the month of January. 16 of those 23 points came at even strength. So a lot of people talking about how he might be a power play merchant. You can shut all of those conversations down. He was over a point per game at even strength alone. But then you look at the defense as a whole. 14 goals in the calendar month of January from the back end. Just this offensive that we're seeing from the back end, it's been mightily impressive.
Yes, and it starts with Evan Bouchard because he's incredibly good offensively. And he is playing at maybe some of the best offensive regular season time we have seen.
Yeah, should be going to Italy, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that.
We're all on Team Bouchard here. Yes. But be that as it may.
Yeah.
But you got a guy like, you look at Matthias Ekholm. Why, he's got a big shot. Yeah. When that thing gets through, it's a handful. Darnell Nurse, and we've seen it over the course of time, if he jumps up into a play, and I've said this before, if he has a clean line to the net, he is really good at just shooting it past a goaltender.
Yes.
Like getting in and seeing net and not seeing goalie. Like he's really good at that. And Jake Wallman also has a tremendous shot from the point. So if those guys are getting shots through, it's going to be difficult for a netminder, especially if you're getting some traffic and what have you. And as you continue to do that over the course of the year with, 4 guys that have shots like that, goals are going to start coming at some point. Yeah. Obviously, in the month of January, it started to roll that way. That doesn't surprise me because we saw times like that last year too, the exact same thing with those 4 players that we're mentioning in particular. Were able to find the net. So it's nice to have that in the arsenal that you can get offense from your D.
Well, tonight marks the first half of a back-to-back for the Oilers. It's the second half of a back-to-back for the Toronto Maple Leafs, with the Calgary Flames being the common denominator. Last night, Toronto wins. Troy Stecher gets in the goal column, made a couple of nice defensive plays. He looked great. The Leafs, They have back-to-back wins, but that's coming off the tail end of a 1-6-2 stretch. They were struggling a little bit, starting to find their game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they had to gut out a win in Vancouver that went to a shootout. And, they had the 3-0 lead last night and then hung on there
close.
for a bit. Yeah, I mean, Calgary pushed
and Calgary
pretty hard.
was very good in that third period.
They were very good in the third period. So, for them, I mean, you just look at the standings. Yeah, there's points, but there's also a lot of teams separating them in the playoffs. So they absolutely need to get on a sustained roll to close that gap, and that's going to be difficult to do. This is their last game before the break, and the end of a 4-game swing out this way. They started with a loss in Seattle and then a couple of wins. So, they're going to be desperate. It would be great to see Troy Stetcher.
Yeah,
of course. He's just a really good dude. But I would expect some desperation on their part.
Well, it's the 21st meeting between Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid. Number 34 from the blue and white. He took the first 6 contests, and the last 14 have been split right down the middle. We'll see what we get here tonight at Rogers Place.